Good morning. Happy Friday. Today is Friday, March 8th, and I am your morning witch. This time, 26 years ago, I was down in Texas getting sweet cream ice cream for probably like the 10th time. I know, that seems like it makes no sense, right? But I am your morning witch, right? And today we're going to talk about mourning, but with a U. We're at the anniversary of my Uncle Steve passing away when I was a teenager, and it's always hard for me. He was one of my favorite people. Literally, as a kid, I had two favorite people, one on each side of the family, and they were the first people to die on each side of the family. So it's hard for me to pick favorites now. Maybe that's why. But anyway, we're at that anniversary and thinking about it, and I always think about this, and the whole time I could have been spending time with my Uncle Steve. I was off getting ice cream with an uncle I never knew and still don't know. But they robbed me of my time with Uncle Steve, who could have heard me. I could have talked to him. Maybe hummed some Janis Joplin or sang the Talking Heads, because Uncle Steve loved that music, and so did I. I still do. But there was a disagreement of the adults involved. And because I was a teenager, my mourning didn't matter. The comfort of the adults involved outweighed my comfort, outweighed my life experience with my beloved uncle. I cannot think about his passing without thinking about the denial of being in his presence, because we all mourn differently, and though I respect that they were not comfortable with my brother and I being present, I resent that sweet cream ice cream is my favorite flavor of ice cream. There's a point in there. I hope you get it. Happy Friday. Respect other people's wishes. Respect other people's lives. Respect other people, but ultimately know that when you take the reins over their existence, you take away their control of the situation or how they live out the rest of the time, I guess. I don't know. But I think it's an important message, because I was a child and what I said didn't matter. And I was overweight, so being taken for ice cream like 3 times a day, probably not helpful for me. But being kept away from Steve was detrimental. It was detrimental.